what is back?
What?
Our most favorite series on Netflix.
What could it be?
Y'all already know what it is.
Do we know what it is?
You see the title, right?
Do we see the title?
What's the name of it?
Money
Heist. Money Heist. Whoa! If y'all don't know about Money Heist,
where you been?
Turn the video off right now.
What you doing?
Because it's a shame for you to
shame.
watch it. Money Heist is the greatest Netflix series that they ever did. Hey, look, if anybody from Netflix is watching, we would love to come and do a series or a show, especially for Netflix. We are the Real Nesters. Make sure it's a murder mystery. That way they can take Crystal to the basement. She can get kidnapped and killed. Then I can come rescue her, you know, like that. We even have Queen Latifah come as a special guest.
He killed me, but then he's going to rescue me.
Well, let's get into what we came here for.
My.
At Real Nesters, y'all already know what time it is. Money Heist. Woo! We've been waiting on this for 2 years, you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen.
2 years. 2 years.
And then they had a nerve to not even still finish it.
But you got all the notes. Let's go.
Do I?
My phone's on the rack.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's catch you guys up.
Yeah, just a little overview. Money Heist is about this team of elite
thief. What's your elite band of thieves?
There you go. So, and then there's one who's the leader, the professor. So they chose not to know. Nobody is supposed to know anybody intimately or personally or their names. That's how this all started. The professor put this gang together because when he was little, he was sick. He was a sickly child. So his father would rob and stuff so he could pay his medical bills. And while, you know, his father always used to tell him stories when he spent time with him at night, and he always told him this story about robbing, what's that thing called? What did they rob the first time?
The museum or bank?
No, not the museum.
I don't know.
The first time they robbed the place where you make money.
The Mint?
Yes. So, you know, his father always told him the story about robbing the Mint. And over the years, he perfected his father's plan, him and his brother. They ain't let on about that until later. His brother was a professional thief as well. So they devised this perfect plan to rob the Mint. And he actually do calculations for every if then this. You know, if this scenario happened, then we need to do this. Literally. Then he get these teams together. He trained them for about 3 months, I think. They ate together. They slept together. Everything.
You know how when you say a person have a plan B? Well, he's got a plan A, B, C,
all the
D,
way to Z.
And E.
All the way to Z, Because if this happens, he going to do that, you know. And he trained them to remember, you know.
If you like, this is basically, I would say.
Ocean 7, was it?
Ocean 7, Mission Impossible, CSI, all rolled up into one. And what's the other game? Clue. Who did it and what? You roll all that up, and then you got Money Heist. So the first season, they robbed the place. They did lose a couple of people. But they was able. They didn't just rob the place and keep the money for themselves. They actually did like a what they call Robin Hood.
What's those things called? A blimp. And they filled it with money and just rolled it down the street and just started dropping money on everybody.
Hey, make sure you guys go back 2 years in our videos and watch our review of the first Money Heist.
Now, the way they do it on Netflix is a little weird because this movie is based out.
It's still the second one, but it's like it was a 2-year gap before the second half.
No, it's not even that. They don't call it like we call our season 1, 2, 3. Like on here they say it's season 5, but it's really not. It's actually only part 2. Because the first one was I think 19 episodes. But it was still the first one. They robbed the Mint. It was about them getting in the Mint, getting out. And they all named themselves after countries. Cities.
Well, I guess Switzerland, you know,
Tokyo, Rio,
big cities,
all these different places. So that's the names they go by the whole time. They don't know anything personal.
And I'm telling you guys, once you start, you're going to have to binge watch this. This ain't something, once you start watching this, you're not going to want to stop. And it's a lot. It's going to take you, even if you binge watch these.
Probably about a week or two.
Straight. Even if you watch it for 4 hours a day, it'll take you a week to get caught up.
Because at some point, you gotta rewind back to be like, wait a minute, how did you get over here? And it does a lot of skipping around. I love shows or movies like that, where it goes from what's happening now, and then they say, this is so and so when they were 16, this is how it started, so they do all that. So anyway, to fast forward, they end up robbing it. Everybody get their money. They go off to their separate areas. That was part of the plan. They cannot make contact with each other, see each other, none of that. But what they decided to do, since they all were lonely, they left in pairs of 2. So it was Rio and Tokyo, Helsinki and Nairobi. The professor actually ends up flipping a cop. And she falls in love with him, and they go off together. And what's our other guy name?
The skinny guy, the hacker guy.
That's Rio. The other one is, we missing my girl.
The big guy.
That's Helsinki. No. The one who,
the dark skin.
The one who they end up naming his girlfriend. What do they call her?
So, you recapping the first one, right?
Yeah, I'm wrapping up the first one. Stockholm.
Yeah, Stockholm.
Stockholm is with Denver. And Denver actually loses his father the first time. So Stockholm was one of the women in the Mint. Somebody instructed him to shoot, but he couldn't do it. Something about it, he couldn't do it. He did shoot her, but he nursed her back to life, and she ends up running off with them when they all leave at the end.
Like I said, you go back 2 years and watch that recap.
And one more person I have to mention before we go into season 2, however you want to say it. And there was this guy in the Mint who, I think he was the manager. Stockholm was his side chick. And so, I had to mention him because he's important as we go into the next season. He was he's the worst. He's the worst.
The season starts off by them still trapped as a museum, right?
No. That was still part 1. I recapped part 1.
Well, how does this one start off?
Part 2 starts off that they all go off to their separate areas, but Tokyo gets bored and she leaves Rio. And he's so in love with her. He young, he immature. She runs off. He go try to find her because I think somebody was chasing her or something.
But what I'm saying is, you're recapping. We already did a video on that. They gotta go watch it.
No, not that part.
That's how this one started off? We just got to watch it?
Yeah. Remember, it was a big gap in between when season 2 started. Just let me do my thing. You just kept coming when you ready. So Tokyo runs off. Rio ends up trying to go find her, and the police are still looking for them because they did this whole big dramatic thing. So they lock him up, and they what do you call it when they torment you? What do they call it? Tortured him. What do you call that when the opposite?
Torture.
Okay. So they tortured him. So Tokyo runs and finds the professor because they had like some kind of secret way to get in contact with each other. She runs and finds the professor and say, "Hey, the police got Rio. We need to get him back." And that's when he comes up with plan number 2, where they are robbing. What is this thing they're robbing? We keep saying a museum. I don't think it's a museum, is it?
Yeah, definitely a museum.
But it does something else. Well, with artifacts and gold. Because this time, this is the professor's second biggest plan. They are melting. They go into this place. They're going to melt the gold. And then they're all going to, distribute it in some type of way.
They done had so much stuff going on. I forgot what they were originally there for.
I just told you.
But I mean, were they really there?
Yeah, to get Rio back.
No. Were they really there to get gold?
Yeah, they getting the gold too.
To steal gold.
Yeah, it's people downstairs constantly working on that.
Okay.
So Rio, the professor said this is the only way we're gonna be able to get him back because they didn't know where in the world he could have been that they was hiding him. So he started this plan up. He brings some other people in. They go into this place. I can't think of the freaking name of it. I'm so mad at myself. And they do the same setup. And they wear those masks. What's the mask called?
Anonymous.
The anonymous mask. Yeah. So they're in there. In the first part, I forgot what they did, but they finally, they told them in order for them to let the hostages go or something like that, they had to give them Rio back. Yeah. So the lady this time, remember I told you, he flipped the first negotiator. And now she's his girlfriend. So they bring in a lady worse than her. And she is pregnant, you guys. This lady got to be the meanest woman on earth. She pregnant. She walking around with her lollipop and her big belly. And she just torturing people.
She
and
was pregnant
all
the whole
kinds
time from the get-go.
The whole time.
Yeah.
She said something about her husband died.
She probably killed the husband.
I think just before, like right when she found out she was pregnant. I think he died from like cancer or something.
Black Widow.
So she's like super, like, I can kill anybody. She don't care. All she care about is this baby.
Yeah.
So, you know, she ticked off because, you know, it's a very strategic type show. So for every time the police do something to catch them and he tell them not to, every time they do something, the response is for him to do something back to them. Yeah. He exposes them. So he ended up exposing that she was the one torturing Rio. Yeah. And they did all this stuff to him. So throughout this, she's trying to catch him or whatever. It doesn't work out. They chasing them out. They was out in the woods. Because he stays separate from the people. He always hiding somewhere separate from the people. They ended up catching his girlfriend. Yeah. Because they were in the woods.
The cop.
And they split. Because he, you know, he's saying, you know, if we together, then they could catch us together. So they split. Yeah. They ended up catching the girlfriend. She has a kid. Yeah. And her mom, I think, has Alzheimer's. Yeah. They have somebody watching over them, but they found them and basically threatened her to try to get her to flip on everybody and tell with the details of everything. But he had a plan for that too. So he gets her back too. So he got everybody in this daggone art place. Yeah. Which messed up the pregnant lady, the negotiator. Yeah. It messed her up. And the guy over top of her was like a captain or something, like a police captain. So he actually threw her under the bus, you guys. That's where we at now. Lisbon was her name. Yeah. The cop, the mean cop, I think it's Tamaya. He throws her under the bus. He throws everything on her. He's like, all of this is her fault. She was working with the professor. Yeah. And she, you know, he's saying this stuff on national TV. So now she's really ticked at the professor now. So this season starts off with her finding the professor. Mm-hmm. Now you all up to date.
Oh yeah, let's get it.
You guys, I love this show. Too. So the professor gets, her name is Lesbian or Lesbon. Lisbon.
You said lesbian.
Yeah, I ain't say that part. You said that part. He gets caught by her. He's in a storm drain or something down underground.
Yeah. He got like a Batman lair. Yeah. But she found that way. Bop him up, beat him up, tie him down,
shot him.
Yeah. And now he basically she effectively disabled his communication with the team. So now they pretty much on their own with the main bad cop that's trying to get in there. So he calls in his buddies from the army to infiltrate the place.
Not the good army, not the regular army.
The mercenaries.
They like the
mercenaries.
The undercover, dirty, grimy
mercenaries.
Woo!
That's what you call them. So basically, there's a lot of action that goes.
About that.
There's a lot of action that goes on. Who got killed? No, we can't tell them that. No, you gotta watch it. We can't tell you. But basically, some people get killed. There's a whole lot of guns and explosions and don't forget about the crazy head of security for the museum. Oh, that guy. So talk to him about that guy.
Okay.
The one that they had on the inside that was just causing havoc.
So he was the
head of security guy.
Yeah. He was The head of security guy, he was ticked off because, you know, his job is to protect. They was calling the guy the governor.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like the top person who makes sure the museum is all right.
Basically the manager of the place.
No, I guess.
Yeah.
So he was his right hand security person to protect him.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they offended him. He was like an army person and all that stuff too. But they offended him by doing this whole thing.
Yeah.
So he's really ticked off. And then I told you guys about that last guy from the last season where they robbed his place where he was the manager.
Yeah. And
Stockholm was his side chick. This fool done found a way to get himself back into this one because that's how he got popular. He became a motivational speaker because he had people thinking he saved the day.
You flipping back to the other one.
Okay, but that's how the story goes.
You gotta watch the video.
So anyway, no, that part probably wasn't even on there. So he sneaks back in here.
Yeah.
And he's doing everything he can to distract them, cause problems. And he really just ticked off because the lady Stockholm left with the bad side. And his wife, I think, ended up, some kind of way they ended up telling his wife that he was cheating with her. So I guess the wife left him too. Yeah. So he was in for some revenge. He helped the security guy get loose. This dude runs amok and kills
2 or 3 people.
It was Nairobi.
Well, we said we weren't gonna tell them.
Oh.
We're not gonna tell them. They gotta watch.
Well, anyway, he runs amok. And then after that, you know, they finally get back in control. They get him under control, but he is evil. So he's like torturing them.
Him and the other lady would be a perfect husband and wife team.
Oh, Lisbon. So, you know, they're dealing with that, and then everything y'all could think, like every part of the, like we said, the professor thinks of everything from A to Z. But because he's not in control now, because Lisbon, you know, done tied him up where they at, they're having to improvise. Now, another thing about the professor is he's wise enough to never tell everybody the complete story. Yeah. So he gives each one of them a separate secret. If he gives them a code word, they have to activate what he trained them to do separate. Yeah. So he also got this guy, I forgot his name, but he was his brother's best friend. So the brother dies in the first one. So he calls the best friend because he would operate like the brother. And he was the one who was in charge of this operation. Yeah. But, you know, when you lock family in together, even though they were much like a family, when you lock a family in together, y'all know we just came through COVID, right? Yeah. People get overwhelmed, they get frustrated, they tired, you know, so they started nitpicking at each other, so they started fights amongst themselves. The professor usually fathering them, but again, he can't talk to them right now. Yeah. So y'all can imagine, it's getting crazy in there. Okay, so we found out Berlin, which is the professor's brother, he died in the first season. Yeah. He kind of sacrificed himself because he knew he was dying anyway. He had some kind of strange disease or whatever. Yeah. So in this, remember we told you it keeps flipping back and forth. We found out he has an older son. Yeah. Because we always try to figure out how the professor figures out how to get out of something, because he seemed like a lonely guy. Like if you watch the show, you're like, oh, he don't know nobody. This man has endless connections. So I think the next part that comes up, Berlin's son is going to play a big part in it. In it, because he wasn't in this actual thing. Yeah, he wasn't. They had the flashback, but that was involved with something else. They was just showing. I think they showing how they going to bring him, who he is, and how they going to bring him into this.
Maybe the professor gets killed and he takes over as the new professor.
Possible. Ooh. Oh, Arturo.
Spoiler alert.
Arturo is the crazy guy who forced himself back in the situation. Yeah. He started a gunfight. So all this stuff going on.
Don't give him everything.
And dude decides he's gonna go rogue. But he starts talking. He's not really an action taker. He manipulates. Instigator. Yeah, he instigates and manipulates. You want to hit stop real quick? he instigates and manipulates. He gets close to somebody, like what he think is the weakest link, and he manipulates their mind. Be like, if I was you, I'll go grab that gun and hit him over the head, you know, and then I got your back once you do it. Yeah. So, you know, he does a lot of that throughout the show. Yeah. So even with the governor is a very wise man, but he didn't realize how rogue Arturo can go. Yeah. So yeah, they ended up having some crazy stuff happen there with some shootouts and all of that kind of stuff. But they finally got his butt out of there. Yeah. And you guys, I ain't no killer, but don't push me. Arturo would have been dead the first season. Okay, yeah, he should have been gone. So Lesbian. No, it's not lesbian. Lesbian.
Not lesbian.
No, you keep saying that. I'm not saying that. Anyway, Lesbian, while she's there with the professor and she trying to figure out her plan. Like, she was so, I think, blind from anger that she just wanted to catch the professor. And she finally put her clues together and caught him. So she's sitting there. She's 9 months pregnant. The professor's friends, I told you, you guys, you think this guy is so lonely. He has so many endless contacts. So 2 of his friends came to check on him because they got times where they supposed to check in with each other. So if not, I told you, he done thought up plan A through Z. So they come in there to check on him, but she was 5 cents smarter. She put them under 2. So now she holding 3 men hostage and she's sitting there. Then the news finally comes on. And that daggone cop captain done dug her even deeper into this mess and saying she did all this stuff. And now, before, if she had probably brought the professor forward, she probably could have got out of something. Yeah. But this guy done put her so deep in there. He's saying that she worked with the professor. And the professor is pretty smart. So he basically took that moment to say to her, look, they gonna call you a traitor either way. Either you traded on us or you traded on them. But either way, people don't like traitors. So you stuck with us. Yeah. Excuse me. So in the meantime, she goes into labor. Dun dun dun. Yep.
And she ended up going crazy with having the baby.
She tried to do it by herself, y'all. Yeah. She did not want to let them go to get out of there. So,
and then she basically ends up having the baby. Then she actually calms down after that.
For 5 minutes.
Yeah. Calms down.
Because she's already
the professor
plotting.
And everybody, she let them go so he took back control of the communications with the team. So he kind of guided them, but by then the mercenaries,
too much stuff.
It was going on.
It was
whole lot
crazy.
Of explosion, whole lot of gunfire. Yes.
People dying.
Sad endings. We're not going to spoil it for you. But what we found out at the end is that it's coming up on the final of Money Heist starting December the 3rd. They didn't say how many episodes going to be there?
I think about 5.
Yep. So you got until December the 3rd to get caught up on all the episodes. December the 3rd, we're going to be back again. Y'all already know how we do.
I want to finish. He always trying to brush me. Ladies and gentlemen, see, you messed me up, eh? What I learned from watching this show, because I'm a type person who like to, put TV into real life. Rage and revenge and power will get you in trouble. Yeah. I mean, you gotta watch it so you can see what I mean. Yeah. But for every bad thing that happened, it happened because one person wanted to take power from another person. Yeah. Or revenge, right? So they mad at the professor, they make dumb decisions. That police captain, he kept making dumb decisions because they wasn't thinking it through, they were just doing. And rage, just being angry. That lead security guard, he was just angry. He was just doing anything. He didn't care. You guys, this show is awesome. It is so many twists and turns. You could blink your eye and miss how somebody got from this side of the room to this side of the room. Like, it is so intense. Like, I said that the whole time, like this.
It's like being at a movie theater at home.
Yeah. Put your surround sound on. Put your surround sound on. You will enjoy it.
And if you got a home theater at home, you really in for a treat. And look, this Money Heist, you guys, we can't even rate it because it's at a whole nother level. Money Heist is like the Michael Jordan and LeBron James. There's nothing that you can compare to it, so you can't give it a rating. Nothing compares to it. Nothing can beat it. Except Money Heist itself when they come back on again. Yeah. So nothing else can beat it. So there's no rating for it. You just got to go see it.
Money Heist producers, stop teasing us and wrap this thing up. Yeah. If you want to go for a third one, just do it. Stop teasing us. Get them out of there.
Yeah, we do want to see another one. We want to see a whole new robbery. Start from scratch. Because you know the winter is coming. We need something to watch. I know y'all doing it December the 3rd, but hey, it'd be nice if December the 3rd ended the old one and then started a new one. But look, guys, we're going to wrap this video up. We done talked long enough. Y'all need to go see Money Heist. If you ain't good see Money Heist, you need to slap the person next to you.
I hear hating in his voice.
We out of here, babe? Money Heist is back.
It just ended.
December the 3rd.
We'll be back.
We're going to watch it as soon as it come back. So we're going to say before Christmas, we will have a review. That should wrap up before Christmas, right? If it starts December 3rd. Yeah, well, because they put all episodes up.
Well, I was about to say, it depends on how they put it up.
I'm thinking we had to wait each week, but no, Netflix puts all the episodes up.
Well, this time they did.
Yeah, they did.
But we'll see.
All right, you guys, we out of here. Thank you for watching this review on Money Heist. Make sure you like and subscribe just like you always do. Go back and watch the old video. It's 2 years back. So that means you got to watch 2 years of videos just to get to Money Heist. Don't skip none of them either. Don't skip none of them. They're very funny. You hear me? Don't skip none of them either. Because you know what? We out of here. Peace.